All right, we're gonna wait just another minute here, see if some more people jump on. Okay, well, I think we'll get started here since it's a little after 2. So thank you for joining the webinar today on navigation lists. Are you using them? We're going to review the financial sales, sales and purchasing and payroll for those navigation lists. So for today's agenda, we're going to look at the navigation lists that are inside the financial module, navigation lists in the sales and purchasing, and then again in the payroll. And then we'll go over any questions that anyone might have. Navigation lists are available from the core GP, so right out of the package. If you're not seeing these navigation lists, definitely reach out to us to make sure that we get those working for you and that you have access to them. So my name is Jess Moan, and I'm your presenter today. I've been a consultant here at Implementation Specialists for a little bit less than a year now, but I've been a front-end user of Dynamics GP for over 9 years. So with a lot of that experience in the payroll module, but well-rounded in the other modules as well. So navigation lists in our financial module, there are several navigation lists that you are able to use. Some of them allow you to inactivate accounts within a group of accounts that aren't in any specific order, which can speed up that process for you on a day-to-day basis if you're in there inactivating accounts. The big thing is make sure that there's no balance in those accounts if you're inactivating them. You can look at trial balances for selected accounts that have, again, no order to them. When you're in that trial balance report, you do have to have some sort of criteria of which accounts to pick. This one, you're able to pick any accounts that you want to show up in that trial balance. And then the account groups, again, they can be non-continuous, and we can look at the checkbook options. So we're going to jump into GP so that we can show you some of these examples of how these navigation lists can help you for your financial module. So here in Dynamics GP, we're going to go into our financial module here, and your navigation list is going to be up here in the blue section on the far left-hand side. It'll be selected for your financial, which is going to be this screen that you see right now. If we continue down here and look at, let's say, our accounts, we are able, and sometimes it does take a minute here to load, especially if it's the first time getting into your navigation lists here. So we'll give this a minute. We should be able to pull those up. There we go. It's loading here. So you can see that you'll have your account list here, and you are able to check mark any accounts that you want to edit or work on. Again, as I said, you can check mark any order that you wanted to. You can come up here to this inactivate button. And the nice thing about this button is that if you hit that, it doesn't just automatically inactivate it. It does kind of have that safeguard that you do have to come back down here to hit inactivate to inactivate those accounts. So that can be a quick way to inactivate several accounts that maybe don't have a specific order that you're looking for. This screen can also jump to different areas. We can, you might be looking at here and you notice that I'm missing an account that I might need in the future. You can click on this account, and what that's going to do is it's going to jump you right to that account maintenance window, and you can create an account on the fly. You can also come right in here, create unit accounts, variable allocations. You can jump right into a journal entry. So it's just can be a quick way to get two areas. You can sort. We can look at just all accounts, or we can exclude inactive accounts. And then there's your reports. So here's where, we could select, let's get down a little bit further. We can select a few different accounts, maybe that aren't in any specific order here, and come in here, go up to this report section and print that trial balance. And that trial balance is going to, give you that screen that you're used to of, do you want that open history or current? Which years do you want to look at? So we're going to print, and we'll print that to our screen here. And you're going to get that trial balance that you're used to, only just showing you those accounts that we just picked. So we are able to then see all of that information right inside of that trial balance for you, opposed to having to try and sort and eliminate and run multiple just to get the information or the specific accounts that you are looking for. So that would be how you would run that trial balance. We can also add filters to these accounts, which are going to be able to help us with sorting. So we can add a filter where, the account segment number contains a certain value, maybe a description, if it's active, and we can even come as far as the segment one contains a specific value, right? Maybe it contains 0, 0, 0, and then you can add another filter, and you can decide whether it's an and or an and not. So you have a little bit of filtering that you can use that is a little bit different than your smart list. We can do or not, or we can do and either. So there's different ways to filter that information on how you want to see that. So just a little bit different ways to filter. We also looked at the checkbook options. So if we are in this checkbooks, what we can do is this is going to give us data of when we last reconciled. So we could come in here and take a look at this and say, okay, well, what's going on with this test checkbook? It hasn't been reconciled. Or we can look at, okay, my payroll account was last reconciled on 12/31, but the flex benefits wasn't reconciled since 2023. You can click on that and we can get right out into the reconciling to pull that up and create that reconciliation right then and there. So that can kind of give management, or if you're looking at this, we can see, I can see my current balance on all my checkbooks, what that last reconciled balance was, kind of giving you all that detail in one spot, opposed to trying to go into each checkbook and look at those dollar amounts and figure out, you know, what each checkbook has, you have that all currently right in front of you. Again, you have, you know, areas that you can quickly get into a transaction. You know, we have can create a new checkbook or go right into the checkbook. And we can come in here and get in right into a decrease adjustment on the fly here using the checkbook that's marked. So just some quicker ways that you can get around in the system besides going to the card or going to that front end. And then, you know, you do have other options down here. We have accounts not submitted and pending approval. That would be looking at your workflow options there. So keep that in mind. To get out of this navigation list here, we can come back up into that financial on the top, and that's going to show you that normal screen that you're used to. Okay. So navigation lists for sales and purchasing module, I did kind of combine this one together just because a lot of it is similar with what you can do. Again, you can inactivate customers or vendors on the fly here. You can do it by selecting multiple. There is no really rhyme or reason. You can just select and inactivate. You can put them on a hold even, or remove that hold if you want to, straight from this navigation list. Again, we can decide which customer or vendors to put on a trial balance to review, and we can look at the batches, workflows, and so much more in these navigation lists. So out here, we can just go, I'm going to go to our sales module here. Again, your navigation list is going to change based off of which module you are in. You know, we can look at our customers here, which is going to give us a list of all of our customers. And again, you know, we can print multiple, or we can select several different customers, and we can even go as far as printing their statement right from here. We can age these customers, specific customers. Maybe we need to assess a finance charge. We can go right in here and, you know, enter in that data, minimum amount to assess on there, and process that finance charge just for those specific customers right there. We can place them on a hold, and I'm just going to select a couple here, and we can place those on a hold there. And you're going to see that it's going to tell us that that hold action has completed, and 2 has succeeded and 0 have failed. So we can place that on a hold, and then once that refreshes, you're going to see that those 2 customers are on that hold based off of that red dot there showing that. We can remove the hold right from here. Hit refresh there, and that should refresh them to remove that hold right from this navigation list. We can select certain customers and come right in, create to our payments window. We can create orders straight from here. If we're looking at this list and we say, oh yeah, I have an order here, we can come in and create that order form right in here. And it's going to pull that specific customer in and do it on the fly there for you. We can, again, sort and do restrictions based off of all customers or exclude those inactive customers. And then that print, those age trial balances, we can do the age trial balance, or we can even do the historical age trial balance. So once you select the different customers that you want to see and come up into your reports, you can go ahead and print an age trial balance. You can include the details there if you want to, and then enter that date that you're looking for to print as of, right? So we'll do 12/31/2024 maybe. And whether you want that GL posting date or document date. and you can come right in here and print that to your screen, and you'll be able to see just those customers that we selected on that trial balance that you want to look at. That way you're not filtering so many different customers, trying to base them on maybe a class ID, or maybe they're between this letter and this letter, but you didn't need everybody, right? So that can be a quick way to just kind of review those specific customers. So we'll uncheck those. We can look at, you know, our receivable transactions even, and look at what's out there. Let's see if there's some data in here. So we can come out here and look at, you know, these documents. Maybe we're looking for certain document number, or someone has asked, you know, to see certain invoices. We can come out here and select those invoices, and we can come up here and we can print those, and then we're gonna select to print those 3 invoices that aren't in any specific order here, so that you can select which invoices may be still open, and get those out to your customer for payment, instead of trying to print one invoice at a time to get those out. If it is an open document and still in work process, we can come out here and it would bring you to your edit screen. We can come in here and, you know, there's certain things that you can edit on those transactions. So that'll bring you right into this edit transaction window there. You know, we can go right out to payments on this, and add a payment right in there. So some few, you know, quick ways to print your documents straight from this navigation list. Again, you have several different, we can look at salespeople. I don't think I have any set up in my test company, but you would be able to, oh, I do. You'd be able to review those salespeople. Maybe you see that you're missing someone, so you could quickly add them in, you know, look at their sales territory. Maybe we need to add a new territory that we don't have in, add that on the fly just by, you know, reviewing. You can see the different territories here. So kind of a nice little way to review those as a total there. And that's going to be the same thing for purchasing. You're going to have where you can select vendors, and you can look at your payables transactions even, you know, the not submitted or pending approval, which would be part of that workflow, getting those in, looking at them in a total. So here again, you'd be able to, you know, look at all your payments, all your invoices. You can sort, you can add those filters up here at any point. We can look at, you know, making an invoice, a finance charge here. Just kind of going through, we can come in here and again, select and print the documents if we needed to. One other thing I wanted to show you in here. Let's see if we can get back in quickly. Okay. So in here, when we're looking at these, we can see that, you know, our workflow up here is up here. So you could select multiple and submit, or if you're in that approval stage, you would be able to select those that are out there waiting for you to approve that list and be able to approve them or complete them all at one time. So navigation lists in payroll module, Here you can look at all of the employee lists. The big one that I want to really emphasize on is this payroll posting accounts list for the navigation. If you are processing payroll inside of GP, this list is going to become one of your best friends if you are adding new accounts, new departments, positions, pay codes, any of that kind of information. This may be one of your best friends going forward on that one, creating that to be a lot quicker than going into that setup posting and adding those payroll accounts for mapping. There's different reports we can get, and we can review applicants for HR if you're tracking your applicants right inside of Dynamics GP. So going back out to our GP out here and under HR and payroll, like I said, you're able to see your employees out here. Let's see if that'll. You're going to be able to see, you know, your employee IDs. You're going to have your last names, the first name, and what department they're in, and review all those. You can come out here and you can see that there are several options up here. We can go through, you know, terminations. We can go through reviews, pay codes. We can get into the check-in query quickly for that specific employee, that if we needed to reprocess or to look at a check or reprint a pay stub there. So several different options here. We can come out here into the employee record, see what they all have attached to them on that record, right? So a quick way to just kind of reviewing your employees. You can again filter, several different filter options that you can work through. But the one that I really want to look at here today is this payroll posting accounts here right inside of the navigation list. It's going to show you all of those posting accounts that you have set up for your company. You can sort them out based off of how you set them up in that payroll out here in this tools setup posting and payroll accounts, right? You had that set up here. You'd have to come in here, add a new department position and pay code here, or drop down, and whichever, if you're adding a new benefit, you'd have to add that benefit expense and payable as well for every department position combination if it has a different coding system. So out here, what you can do is we can actually send this payroll posting report right to an Excel document. You can give it a name. I suggest dating it of some sort if you're going to be doing this multiple times, or making sure that you're going back in and deleting. So we're going to save that out here. That Excel document will pop up for you. And, you know, my list clearly probably isn't as extensive as yours is. I would suggest sorting basically based off of your department and position. And then what you could do is you could select everything that would be in that department position if you're adding a new department or a new position code. If you're adding a new pay code here, a benefit code, you could sort it by your benefits and select, you know, all your department and position code different segments there of different broken out. Select that, copy paste it down to the bottom, and update that code in that GL account. And that way, you know, you're hitting all those combinations of your department position, right? And getting that entered. Just make sure that you're looking at, you know, if it's a benefits payable credit, or if you're doing your benefits expense. And then making sure to grab those. Once you've added that in there and you hit save up at the top, you can close that document. You can come back out here to this Excel and import that back in. And then we are able to grab that Excel file, right? And that's going to import everything back in. Make sure that you do not delete any accounts or information out of that list though, because that will overwrite what you already have in there. So if it is not, if you deleted something out, that account will not push back in. So just be careful with that. You'll get an import process complete for file once it is completed and everything looks correct. If there is an error, such as maybe the department, you keyed in the department wrong, position wrong, maybe the account number doesn't exist or you keyed it in incorrectly, you'll get an error that tells you what line is wrong and what is wrong. So it would say if the account number didn't exist, it would say, you know, line 117 and then account number incorrect or error, you know, so it'll tell you what line. So you could go back into that Excel file and find that line and correct it from there. So, and then another, if you know you are looking at applicants, we do have, you know, we have the employees, we do have that applicant list as well. So if you are tracking applicants in your system, you would be able to filter it just like the employees out there. So just to kind of recap everything, you know, we looked at those navigation lists inside of financial for your accounts, being able to inactivate multiple at one time or edit anything, the trial balance, being able to pick multiple accounts that have no rhyme or reason, you know, you can just select them to print that trial balance, and then looking at your checkbooks all in one view can be very handy to see what those, what you have in all those checkbooks. Or when they were last reconciled and what that amount was. The navigation lists and sales and purchasing, like I said, are very similar but different. You know, you have your customers and vendors. You can inactivate them or place them on a hold or remove the hold if they have made their payment. And then looking at that historical age trial balance, I think is big, being able to just select specific customers or specific vendors to be able to see their trial balance on that. And then for payroll, that posting accounts, I think, like I said, if you start utilizing that, if you have multiple combinations of department, position, and need to post to different accounts, that can be very user-friendly once you get the hang of it. And being able to just copy paste and update what you need can be a lot quicker than going in and manually entering each one at a time. So do we have any questions here on these navigation lists today? I'm not seeing anything. So if you do have any questions, I mean, definitely feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help with any questions with your navigation lists or on anything with GP. So make sure you are reaching out to our consulting team, and we are more than willing to help you with any questions you might have. No question is too big or too small for us. We'll get down to the bottom of that. So definitely don't hesitate on reaching out. We also have our sales department. If you're looking into needing to add something to your Dynamics GP, reach out to our sales department here at sales@iscorp.biz. And thank you for attending today. So you guys have a wonderful day.